to the Dream Journal. From the studios of KSQD in Santa Cruz, the Dream Journal is a weekly show where we explore the power of nighttime dreams through conversations with dream experts and with you. In the words of Carl Jung, who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens. Today's music is called Wish List. Thank you to Rick Kleffel. Would you let a bot interpret your dreams? Should you? We'll speak with Joanna of Blue Lotus Queendom about the pleasures and pitfalls of using AI with dreams. Also, we'll get into the parallels between Yoga Nidra and Dreamwork. I am your host, Catherine Bell of Experiential Dreamwork, and welcome to the Dream Journal. The Dream Journal is also a weekly podcast. Please subscribe, rate, and review. But most importantly, tell your friends. We're getting folks to talk about the show is what we are here to do, to inspire you to talk to your friends. You can find archives at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, etc. Also at ksqd.org/the-dream-journal. Let's get right to it. Let me say hello to Joanna Kowalewska. Hi, Joanna.
Hi, Catherine.
Hey.
How are you?
Doing well, thank you. I understand you're calling in all the way from Israel. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Well, so good evening to you then. Okay. So Joanna Kowalewska, tell me how to say this right. Joanna Kowalewska. Is that how you say it?
Kowalewska.
Kowalewska.
Yes,
Thank you. Joanna Kowalewska, the founder of Blue Lotus Queendom, is originally from Poland. She is certified in Dreamwork and Yoga Nidra and regards dreams as sacred portals to wisdom. She inspires others to connect with their inner guidance through private sessions, dream circles, and workshops. She has recently authored a free ebook exploring potential influences of artificial intelligence on the sacred realm of Dreamwork. And you can find Joanna at bluelotusqueendom.com. Plus, she's all over Instagram and Facebook. I first heard about her on Instagram doing a review of podcasts, and no, that hooked me. I would like to see that. So Joanna, let's get right into it. The artificial intelligence. You know, how far is that from the sacred intelligence of dreams as you describe it? What first interested you in looking into AI around dreams?
Yes, so I'm interested in technology in general. I used to work in a high-tech company where I was in touch with technology, where I could see what technology is capable nowadays, and it's really impressive. Mm-hmm. And then I decided to connect this interest of mine with my passion and love for dreams and see where dreams stands in regards to artificial intelligence, and did a little bit of research of how and if people starting to use AI for interpreting their dreams, mm-hmm. and look a little bit deeper into it and see basically what good or what bad could come out of it.
Right. Okay. So what have you found? So I take it you took a few of your dreams to some dream interpreter bot somewhere and plugged them in. And what did you find? What was your experience?
Yes. So I started with that, with kind of talking to the bot, to the machine powered intelligence, talking about the dreams and seeing what will come up. Mm-hmm. And then I realized that, well, it is pretty intelligent and it gives quite impressive answers. But of course, it is also giving this illusionary idea of this thing that it can actually give you a proper answer. You know, at some points I was even thinking, wow, that's so smart, that's so good. Oh. But then it didn't really go well with my inner feeling. So what I discovered is that it gives kind of the right answers, what you would expect, but it didn't, it wasn't hitting the spot. And so I started to go deeper into it and kind of modify and try asking different kind of questions, and did the research also how other people use it. So I look in the different forums and check Facebook groups and talk to people that are interested in dreams and say like, hey, did you try AI for dream interpretation? What do you think? Would you like to even use it? And of course, I found both opinions, like, no, let's not do that. That's something we shouldn't do. And also I found people saying, yeah, why not? It can be amazing. So I made it my goal to kind of see where the truth lies, like to find kind of this balance in between those both voices.
Right. Well, I'm really struck by what you're saying about the authority of the bot, of the AI, and that there is a sense of like trusting this thing. And it really strikes me that as a dream coach myself, that when I'm working with people, that they see me as an authority. I mean, just by the fact that there's money changing hands, or I have experience that they don't have, and it's a caution to me to beware of how people perceive me. And because I throw out ideas, but what's really important is what you touched into, is that it resonates deeply with the dreamer. That's the important thing.
Exactly. And, when I was doing this research, I had this small aha moment, and I said, wait a minute, the AI is not really that different. Giving the power to AI is not really that different than what people are already doing when they give the power to other person, as you said, because they see them as authority, that they give power to dream dictionaries, that goes way, the dream oracles or whatever you want to call it, because it's kind of very similar thing. It's just waiting.
Right.
Yeah, because you kind of say, as you said, oh, someone else knows what my dream means, and this is this fundamental place in where I disagree as well as you, is that as much as we can guide other people or help them, or as you said, because we have experience or we learned tools that can help others to understand the dreams, we are not the authority. So I always say to everyone that I encounter that have casual or professional conversation about dreams, is that I can help you see things. Maybe I can ask you some questions that can make you reflect on your dreams and so on. But I will never tell you what your dream means, is because only you can know that. And this is very, very important part of the work that I do. And also I hope I highlighted it enough in my ebook.
Right. So can you give us some suggestions? Like what did you find helpful? Because as you say, there can be some helpful insights from AIs, or even dream dictionaries, or even human beings. Like what do you recommend to dreamers when they're exploring information outside of themselves to learn about their dreams?
Of course. So this is exactly where I stand. I see it as a tool that can be used like a person that can give help, or dictionary that can inspire you for some further reflection. So I see AI in the same way. It can perhaps help you reflect more on your dreams. It can help you with questions. Like you could possibly ask AI, I dreamt of this and that, and what kind of questions I can ask myself to understand my dream better. So there is this
I'm sorry, I want to stop you, because that's such a wonderful way to frame it. What kind of questions can I ask myself about this dream? I love that.
Exactly. Because in that way you are not saying, oh, I dreamt of the door, what the door means, because we know where it leads. It's kind of can be general answer, full of bias and whatnot. But if you do it this way, if you say, I want to go deeper, like what can I ask myself? What elements maybe I can pay attention? Are there any reference in the literature that I could refer to? Because many times we may dream of maybe some mystical creatures or figures or characters, and maybe they exist somewhere in the literature. Maybe it's something that been talked about or written about. So AI can help us very quickly find it, and it can be inspiring. It can help you go deeper, as long as you don't ask this question, what did my dream mean? Because if you do that, then you open the door to the Pandora box, in my opinion.
Okay. Oh, I love that. Okay. So that's not the question to ask of what did my dream mean. Okay. So I wonder if you have any examples that you'd like to share with us, or anything that you could say more about this AI process to kind of help us imagine what that would be like.
Yes, of course. So maybe you can connect it also with other ways of using it, of other ideas, how someone could use that. So besides asking for questions regarding the singular dream, if a person would like to maybe feed AI with a little bit more of their dreams, more of the journal. If someone has a journal in the digital form, like for example I do, that's very simple. And then you could ask, for example, AI, like, could you pinpoint like repeating themes or symbols? It's something that you can also do manually. Of course, you can go over all your dreams from the last, I don't know, year, half a year, or something like that, and look into those things. But in this way, you would be using the machine just to do some kind of manual work for you that could take you a lot of time. Sometimes there are things that can be quite difficult to spot. Sometimes there is a evolution of symbols or themes in the dreams that are very subtle, and maybe we cannot see them so easily. And the AI can pick on those stuff. So you could ask, like, for example, like, what's emotion repeats the most in my dreams, in my journal, right? Or what emotion never show up, or what character never show up, or character that shows up a lot. So it's something that it can be very useful, and also it can be very useful for researchers, for people that want to do some big research and I have huge amount of dreams to go over, or surveys to analyze and stuff like that. This can be very helpful. So AI can help also in this way, in pinpointing stuff. Also, it can be used, I think, for creative process, because now besides the chatbots, you also have tools that can create visuals, that can create music, that can create stories. And again, I would also say that you can use it in two ways. You can just give all your creativity to the machine, which again I don't really recommend, but you can just use it as an inspiration, right? Maybe you had a dream and you don't feel like drawing it, or you don't like drawing, and you can say, like, could you create, this was my dream, could you create some visual for me? Because it can spark something inside you. You can look at this visual and maybe something will spark, maybe some deeper reflection can come out of it. So again, it can be used for deepening the process of connecting to your dream, of understanding your dream. Or maybe you had a dream that you would like to have some maybe track made, or some music, some melody. Now you can also ask AI for that. And again, not taking from the creative process of a person that paints or create arts or music and so on. But yes, it could be used this way. You could use it for your personal process, for your personal dream work in that way.
Right. So, but the goal being to create some sparks in yourself, some deeper realizations, and really trusting in that, and just using this as a tool to see, well, and giving yourself freedom to say, no, that's not quite it. I always love that when a dream person says to me, no, that's not quite it, because it's hard to say, and then it gives me the courage that when I do say something that's meaningful, that it'll be a true thing for them.
Exactly. I think you touched on a really important point. Maybe if someone says something to you, or trying to show you like a way or path that this reflection could go, and you don't agree or you don't feel it, maybe you not necessarily want to see it. But maybe when you talk with AI, you have a casual conversation with AI about your dream, you're not going to have these blockages of saying, no, that's not it, give me a different idea, or give me a different question, or I maybe want to touch on something else on this dream. So yes, it can be also, actually, it can be a lot of fun. Wow. Again, if you treat it as just something, as just a thing, as just a tool, as just a helper, it can be a lot of fun to do that. Like, you can actually talk and say, hey, AI or whatever, I had this dream and I really tried to figure out what it means. And So like you can make it something fun, but again, not giving the authority, not giving the power of the final answer and understanding, because then it can create even bigger disconnection between yourself, your dream, your intuition. And this is something that worry me about the use of AI and any other tools, because they can create even bigger gap. And that's worrying.
Right. I absolutely agree. I think that is worrisome for sure. So you are a certified dream worker. You worked with IDS, is that right? The Institute for Dream Studies?
That's right.
Yeah. And so I'm really struck by these kind of two topics. You're also a certified Yoga Nidra. What would that be? A coach or?
I call it facilitator. You can say teacher, but I like facilitator.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so tell me about Yoga Nidra. It seems like it's very far from AI. And so I'm very curious to kind of catch the range of this, all the way from artificial intelligence to my understanding of Yoga Nidra, which is, I sometimes listen to meditations when I'm having trouble falling asleep at night, and often they'll be highlighted in the app as Yoga Nidra. And what exactly is that? Why don't you explain to us what that means?
Yes, of course. Yoga Nidra can be translated as a yogic sleep. It's a form of very deep relaxation. It's also called non-sleep deep relaxation for people that don't like the word Yoga Nidra, or maybe because it sounds too, woo-woo to them. Right. So actually scientists and researchers realize that if they call it non-sleep deep relaxation, somehow some people, are more keen to look at it seriously. And basically, Yoga Nidra is a practice of deep rest and awareness of our body and awareness of different state of consciousness. Mm-hmm. So it is, I would say that Yoga Nidra, it's sort of meditation, but it's different from other meditations, because the main point of Yoga Nidra is not to necessarily keep you in this awareness state of being very aware of your thought. It's more of keeping some of the awareness, but let your body completely rest and relax, because Yoga Nidra is practiced lying down. Mm. And at the same time, to observe different state of consciousness. This is the things that happen before you fall asleep, when you are, already one leg here, one leg there, mm-hmm. and maybe when you are kind of asleep, but you're also aware at the same time. So it teaches you to observe different state of awarenesses that is not waking life. Mm-hmm. And for me, this connects with the Dreamwork and with the work I do in a way that it's already showing you that there is more than just waking state and dreams. There is, we maybe say, okay, I'm awake or I'm asleep, but actually no, there is much more stages of consciousness. We're just not tuned to them. We are not taught to pay attention to them. And yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's definitely true. And how would you find, what is useful about this for you? If I confess that I use it to fall asleep, because it does help put me to relaxation. But this other state of consciousness, what do you find what do you find about that? What do you like about that? I didn't get that.
Yeah. So basically, yes, Yoga Nidra is very good for helping to fall asleep or to rest for people that cannot fall asleep. Many people that suffer from insomnia find a way of resting in Yoga Nidra, right. Because they don't feel pressure that they need to fall asleep, but it is very deeply relaxing practice, mm-hmm. so it can be very helpful. But what I take from it and how I work with it is that when you kind of drift from a totally awake state with this beta brain waves, and you going into different state and if different brain waves, you are also experimenting a different sensations, and sometimes it's visuals, sometimes it's auditory experiences. So it's kind of as if you were going into the dream. And what it does is that you kind of tune yourself into paying attention to what's happening to you, to your body, to your mind, and just watching it, observing it as if you were observing a dream, and taking some information from there. So also kind of like coming out of yourself a little bit, and like observing yourself from above. And this helps people who, for example, cannot remember dreams. They have difficulties remember dreams, because it's like an easier, maybe sometimes a bit easier step, because I say if you do practice Yoga Nidra and you're entering this hypnagogic state when you kind of awake but not really, kind of asleep but not really, but maybe you start to see something and hear something, and you can remember that, because during Yoga Nidra session you don't enter into the deep sleep. So once the Yoga Nidra ends, unless you fall asleep of course, but once the Yoga Nidra ends, you kind of have recollection of these experiences, and it's already like starting a golden thread to connecting to your dreams, because you're already experiencing something, you're hearing, seeing, experiencing something that it's not the fully awake state. So this Yoga Nidra can help people connect and remember dreams.
Yeah, I see. Well, because in the morning when I wake up, that's like, I guess what they call the hypnopompic stage, is when you're waking up. Hypnagogic when you're falling asleep, hypnopompic when you're waking up, and sometimes I just slide right through that onto my morning routine. And if I could spend more time in that state, the hypnopompic state, I would remember a lot more dreams, I'm sure, because that's where I'm most connected to the dreams. And so you're saying by practicing Yoga Nidra, then I could get more access to that state of consciousness where we do remember dreams.
Yes, and also this stages, the hypnagogic and hypnopompic, they are our mind it's very open, I would say. It's very open for suggestions, so it's a very beautiful state to work with when it comes to manifesting things or asking for things or incubating even dreams, because we are very open. We are not into our mind everyday walking state, crazy mind, and we are in a bit different state, so we are more open to these experiences. And also about what you said about the morning hypnopompic state, which is I think really amazing as well, and people that want to remember more dreams, this is perfect place. If we let ourselves to, as you said, if you could let yourself to stay a little bit more in this state, you having quite experiences in this state, but again, you're not really fully asleep. So it's also a gate. So it's also a gate for becoming familiar and befriending the dreamscape when we are fully asleep.
Right. Sometimes I'll wake up and there's a dream just right at the edge of my consciousness. But the reason I wake up usually is because I'm uncomfortable and I need to roll over. But I know that rolling over shifts my consciousness, and often I lose the dream when I roll over. So sometimes I lay there even though it's a little uncomfortable because my shoulder's ready to move or something, just to stay a little closer to that dream state.
Yeah, I totally know this feeling. But, sometimes it's enough, like if you give it 5 more seconds, that you can kind of run the dream in your head.
Right.
And then you can roll over. So you can just like repeat even like 3 things that you remember from the dream. And then, because you're anchoring the dream a little bit. And this is also sometimes what I do when I wake up and I feel that the dream is like escaping. So I try to say like, okay, this is what happened, and then I move, or then I open my eyes, because I know that I'm already like anchoring the dream. So this is what I would recommend you. If you feel like there's a lot of discomfort, you need to move, but you don't really want to forget the dream. So kind of like go over it in your head and then move, because then you anchor it already.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So I wanted to ask you, we're also, there's something that we've been talking about. You and I had a conversation earlier about finding the inner compass through dreams. And you were describing a particularly profound dream of yours. And the line from the dream that I have here is, everyone knows where north is. And I would love to have you say a little bit about that idea of the inner compass. And what do you mean by everyone knows where north is? All right, of course, it was a dream, so we can just take meaning from it without needing to know what it means.
Yes, exactly. Even though I think that this one is, at least for me, it was pretty clear. So that dream, yes, that was indeed one of the most profound dreams I've ever had. It was half lucid and half not lucid dream. It's very long, so I'm just gonna spare some details, but I will go to this very important part of it where I find myself on an island, and I am lucid, so I am aware that I'm dreaming. But when I become lucid, what I really enjoy is just observing what's happening. I kind of become like a detective. I call it, I become a detective gadget, because I'm not necessarily trying to change things. I'm just fascinated by what my mind or my subconscious or whatever you want to call it is creating. So I just become sort of like a detective. So I love to just look at things, where I am, what I'm doing, who is there. I just love to talk to the dream characters. This is something that I truly enjoy, and I learned from it so much. So in this particular dream, so I'm on this island, and then I see this huge, enormous, standing 3 compasses, but they're like, I don't know, like almost like a house big, right? And I look at them, and they're all pointing north. And I'm aware that it's a dream, but it's still very, I'm still like, wow, this is very interesting. Like, I wonder, what is this about? And then I walk around, and there is this lady sitting in a window. There's like a tiny house, kind of looking like a hobbit. It's kind of all reminding me like a New Zealand green hobbit house. I don't know. And there's this lady sitting in the window, and the window's open. So I approach her, and I ask her, like, so what is this about? Like, what is this? And she's like, being very blunt with me. It's like, oh, can't you see? Like, this is just a compass. And I'm like, yeah, but they're so big, and like they're all pointing north. It's like, yeah. She was like very, very straightforward. Like, she didn't really. I think she wasn't really chatty. And then I said, like, okay. So I asked her, because this is also something that I love doing in the dreams. I always look for this direction, for guidance. So I try to be like sneaky. So I say to her, okay, so but where is north? Like, I'm asking her, maybe I can get some information, right? And then she's like looking at me like I am just not a very bright person. And she's like, but everyone knows where north is. And then it really struck me already in the dream, and the dream continued for a little bit more. But when I woke up, I just felt this really, really deep feeling of this confirmation, like how every person knows what north is, where north is. And for me, of course, my understanding is that we all know what the symbolic north is, which is the way we're supposed to go, what's good for us, for others. Like, we all have this inner knowing, this inner compass. And because she was so, she was like, but everyone knows it. Like, why are you even asking me, right? And then I woke up, and it's like, but that's true. Like, everyone really knows it. We are just really not many times encouraged, and our society doesn't maybe necessarily encourage us to see ourselves as authority, to know what's good for us, where our personal north is. And this is something that I personally been struggling a lot, because I grew up in a quite conservative religious home, where everything was always decided for me. Like, I could not really choose my metaphorical direction, right? Like, this is good, this is bad, this is how you live, this is how you need to do it, otherwise God will punish you, and so on and so on. So I wasn't ever encouraged to look for my own north, right? To look for my own path. And the dreams, of course, knows this. And when I experienced this dream, and I had this conversation, and I saw those huge compasses, and their size also is very symbolic for me, because they couldn't be any bigger almost, right? It's like, you can't miss it. It's kind of like, you can't miss it. It's pointing north. You can't miss it. Everyone knows what it is. So just trust yourself and go for it. And this is what I'm trying to do.
And so helping people find their own authority. So we've come full circle to having to do with artificial intelligence. Is like, where is the inner authority? Can we find that inner authority? So thank you so much. This is Joanna Kowalewska, and this is the Dream Journal. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back. We're going to be taking call-ins. And I'll give the information for that in just a moment. But today we are talking about artificial intelligence, Yoga Nidra, the inner authority, the inner compass, and inclusivity, a word that has not yet popped up for us, but I know that you're very passionate about, Joanna. So we will talk lots more about that. We already have a caller. Thank you so much. We will get to you as soon as the break is over. So we're broadcast live from the KSQD studios in Santa Cruz, and we're co-broadcast live in San Jose by KCXU. Welcome back to the Dream Journal. My name is Catherine Bell. Our guest today is Joanna Kowalewska, talking about AI and Yoga Nidra. Next week, our guest will be John Valenzuela, who will be sharing with us a series of dreams of anima archetypes and how they highlight concepts in interpersonal neurobiology. But today, we will let's connect with our phone person. So I'll say hi to Joanna. Hello.
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 And here's our guest, our caller. Hi, Kristen.
Hi. Thank you for taking my call. I've been listening to the show, and absolutely. I had no idea that people used AI for Dreamwork at all. It's very interesting.
I guess they use AI for everything these days.
I suppose so.
Yeah.
I guess I need to get with it.
I know. I still have yet to connect to any kind of AI. I don't know if what that is all about. I guess
exactly.
It's a little bit creepy. But I wonder if that's revealing how old-fashioned I am or something.
Well, I don't know. I saw a Jimmy Kimmel show the other day where he was singing a duet with Sophia, the robot.
Oh no!
And she had a beautiful singing voice, and I was very shocked.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well, Jimmy Kimmel will do anything, I guess. That's great.
I guess so. He's very entertaining.
So Kristen, we connected on Facebook. You responded to one of my posts and about a show, and you shared a dream. I wonder if you'd like to share this dream, or if you have something else that you'd like to share. I don't want to hold you to something that you said on social media. You know that what's happens in social media stays.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I'd be happy to. Okay. So I believe that I was talking to you about around the time when Robin Williams sadly took his life. And interestingly enough, about 5 days before he did that, I had two dreams. And when I shared with my younger sister that I dreamed of him, she told me that she dreamed of him on the same night. So I'll do my dreams because I know that her dreams were similar to mine.
Okay.
So I had two, and of course, we grew up watching Robin Williams on Mork and Mindy and
Nanu
and some of the others. Yes, absolutely, and he's kind of a crazy comedian guy, and I loved him in Mrs. Doubtfire, and What Dreams May Come.
Dead Poets Society. I'm very talented.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very, very amazing, very, very unique soul.
Yes.
A lot of unique gifts, and so I had a dream. Well, the two dreams I don't really recall. It was so long ago. I don't recall which one came first, but
sure.
They were short. They were short dreams, but very potent. And in one dream, I think this was the first one, where I had a dream that he was driving a car, kind of a long-bodied car, and he had pulled up to kind of like a drive-up window, like you would do when you're going to a fast food restaurant to order food at the window. And he had driven up onto this sort of kind of like a square right there where his car would rest, and his car was supposed to get a tune-up. A tune-up and, I don't know, maybe an oil change or something. Mm-hmm. And so his hood was propped open somewhat, just only partly. And to my horror, in the dream that I was watching, his car was being overtaken by black demonic forms that were kind of wispy and kind of wavering around, kind of like, if you remember that movie Ghost, where there were these black demonic kind of wispy things. It was very similar to that. And there were probably, 5, 6, 7 of them, and just kind of weaving in through the hood of his car, and I just had this feeling of danger, I could say.
Yeah.
And actually, I could chill when I say that. It was a very, very unsettling feeling. And when I told my sister about it, she said, "Oh my gosh, she dreamed about him and the same black demons."
Oh, wow.
So we're both dreaming that on the same night. And then a night later, maybe 2 nights later, I had another dream where I'm seated next to him on the sand on a nice beach. It's a beautiful sunny day. And we're resting our backs against some sort of object. Maybe it could have been the base of a lifeguard tower, one of those big white towers where the lifeguard watches out over the ocean to check the people to make sure they're safe. And it was empty. It was completely unmanned. And I was very aware of his feelings in that dream. And we were just kind of sitting shoulder to shoulder. And I just remember feeling like, although the day was very beautiful, he just wasn't sure that, I can't really just put my finger on it. It was like a dichotomy of this happiness of the ocean, but yet there's this empty lifeguard tower. And I woke up, and that was the dream, which I took, we didn't know what the dreams were about, of course, and then we saw the news just a few days after those dreams. And I do believe when the demonic things were going, kind of swirling under the hood of his car, were his dark thoughts of ending his life, and quite possibly real kind of beings that kind of urged him to end his life. I didn't used to believe in those kinds of things, but as I'm moving my way through the world and getting more age and more wisdom, I'm realizing that there aren't all good things. Like, it's not just angels and white light. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right. Thank you, Kristen. I appreciate these. These are really tender dreams. And Joanna, I wonder if you want to jump in here with some thoughts or.
Yeah. First of all, thank you for sharing. That's really profound experience. I feel that every time that we share similar dreams with others, it's very, very profound. And also, for me, it's a perfect example of how connected we truly are with each other, with everyone else. And through our dreams, we can actually tap into this field, this emotional, energetic field. And what you said about like how you felt that those like demons, they could perhaps, represent the thoughts, the dark thoughts, or the people that influence someone else's behaviors and decisions. It's very, very powerful. But I was wondering, at any point, did you consider that also, besides of this meaning, that it was a dream of someone else, for someone else, about someone else, that it could also hold a meaning that it's reflecting something within you?
That's a good question.
That's a great question. I had not looked at it that way. I do believe through all my years of dream work that it's very likely that dreams have double meanings.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Many, many layers, I would say. Yeah.
And I think, I'm trying to remember, I believe he ended his life in 2014. I looked that up yesterday, thinking about what year was that and what was happening. You know, I had left my marriage in 2011. I lost my dream house that we built on the river, and you know what? I just got a aha.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
My husband had a total mental breakdown, and he decided he did not want to medicate. Mm-hmm. And so that's a very big reason why I left the marriage. I could not live with somebody that was happy being, not happy, that's not the right word, but just going to exist in that mental illness that was getting pretty severe without medicating.
Wow. Oh, Kristen, this is very, very touching.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that might have been, that might have been why I was so tuned in to Robin Williams as well.
Right, because you saw something there. Yeah, and even from the dream from 9 years ago can bring a powerful aha.
Yeah, it's amazing the way that happens, and I love it when it does happen. I just figured I've had psychic dreams all my life, from a pretty young age, very, very psychic dreams, and I just interpreted it as a straight psychic dream, and I never thought about until right now. I never thought, well, you know, does it also have another meaning for me in my life?
Right. Joanna, thank you for bringing that in.
That's an excellent point.
Yeah. So, Kristen, thank you. I really appreciate you calling in, and I hope you'll call in again another time with this, some of these amazing dreams that you have to share and insights. I want to let you go, Kristen. We have another caller from Monterey, and I want to
thank you so much.
Hi.
Bye.
Thank you so much, Kristen. Take care. Very tender there to see the way these things are related to our current life, even when there's some very clear psychic connection as well. Yes. So I want to say hello to Wendy from Monterey.
Hello.
There we go. Great.
I got through.
Yes, you got through. You did. So good to hear from you, Wendy.
This was a great show.
Oh, good.
It was a great show, a great subject matter. I'm really surprised to hear this because I've been not a lot of it around, you know. Oh. But I just wanted to say that I've been lucid dreaming since I was a child. And always listened to my dreams as if they were a part of reality. One of the first things that I do in a lucid dream is go look for a mirror and see what I looked like, and it wasn't always me. So it was always surprising, but you know, you think it would be you in a dream, but I wasn't always me. Sometimes I was another me in a different place. Sometimes I wasn't even me at all. Sometimes I was a man or something else. But I've always it's very real to me in those lucid dreams. In fact, I don't really call them dreams so much as I call them part of my reality. But lately I had a really surprising dream, which I wanted to take notes and take the notes out with me, but I couldn't, so I don't remember all of it. But it was someone trying to explain to me, and this has to do with artificial intelligence, someone trying to explain to me the computer code to write a game. And the game was similar to what I would call, well, it was if there were certain players in the game that you would write the code in, that they would have influence on the outcome of the game, and then a lot of the other players in the game would be more like pinball bumpers, so they didn't have much effect on the game, and it was a variable type of code that would allow them to make decisions that would have influence on the whole game, which I'm assuming was life, or so to speak, or might even be what we're going to go into with artificial intelligence. But it was pointing out to me, and I don't know computer code. So I don't really remember what was told to me, but I knew it was computer code with variable control on certain elements and people that were the players, whoever the people or whatever the players were in the game that determined the outcome and changed it, and they all worked together to create an outcome. And so I was interpreting his life. I couldn't tell you the code, but I think that it kind of told me that we are living in that game, that our reality is a computer code, and AI will be able to integrate into that, but we shouldn't let it control us.
Well, I love that there's some cooperation going on. People.
Well, that's it. There should be cooperation, but we should not let it commander us and not let it be the overseer. Because it's really scary. And she had mentioned Sophia, and that if you look up Sophia and watch what she said, does not have good, kind feelings towards humanity. And it's very scary that we're letting that happen. And there's other AIs that, when they're asked specific questions, they really do not want humanity to exist. So it's very scary, and I think that we're just letting it go ahead without any discernment or any kind of off button. I know I'm a Star Trek fan, and if they would follow follow Data and how Data was created versus how his brother Lore, I don't know if you're familiar with Star Trek, but Lore is the evil brother that's an artificial intelligence, and Data is the one with that ethics.
Right.
And we need to instill the protocol of ethics that to protect humans.
Yeah,
we don't just want to create a... Yeah,
the laws of robotics, like the whole thing of ethics is a big deal.
The whole thing of ethics.
Yeah.
I don't hear anything about that. And it's really concerning because they're talking about, it's as it is now, it'll be hijacked by military and by people that want to take over authority over the population. It's too wide open, and if we create things without that ethics, it should be we oversee who has nuclear weapons and how they produce them. We should be overseeing artificial intelligence with the same kind of discernment, because otherwise we're creating an apex predator that can kill us and might very well do it. And I don't know why anybody would do that. What would be the purpose?
Right.
So I think that dream is saying that we all have a part, if we choose, to determine what's happening now by playing this game, whatever this game was that I don't know the code for, but that we do have an ability to integrate with artificial intelligence, but I don't think we need to. I think we have it within us, to create this hyper-intelligence that they're talking about, because the knowledge is within us, and the artificial intelligence is there and will become our controller if we're not careful.
Right, so we should keep it as a tool, not as a master.
As a tool, exactly. Don't let it use us, and don't let it commander us, and give it a protocol of ethics that it can't be overridden, and don't let the military take control of it, and authoritarian leaders, because let's just say they will. I don't think that they won't. Right. So we have to be very aware of that. But I think that they have to leave it very more transparent to the public. They have input and not... I don't want to say they're secretive, but they certainly aren't forthcoming about where the programming is coming from. And, I think that more people should be involved in the development and how it's used, basically. And it could really help us, but it could really hurt us.
Right. Well,
and in reality, this is a really weird thought, but I kind of feel like we do live in a simulation, which the science, the quantum physicists are saying is 50% possibility, and that we very well may be living in a habitat created by AI, that we their pets from the future. So that's a very not pleasant thought, but it is something to be aware of. I can't say for sure but I have a feeling that could be a possibility, or even could be a possible timeline.
Very matrixy.
And we just need to be aware that we don't want to be anybody's pet.
Yes, that's for sure. Battery cells. We don't want to be the pet.
Yeah. So thank you. Thank you for letting me say that, because not many people would let me even say that at all.
Okay, well, no. Joanna, do you want to jump in here? What's coming up for you around what
Yes. Really, thank you for sharing. And I think that I completely agree with you. And my work in this field of showing the possible, pros and cons of working with AI in dream is actually to prevent this to happen with our dreams. Like, what I do is I don't, I'm not trying to tell someone use it or not use it, but if you decide to use it, don't give the authority away, don't give your power away, use it as a tool, as a helper, as any other tools that you can use, but don't let it become the authority. Always keep in mind that it's just a tool. It can be very smart tool, very convenient tool, very fast tool, but it's still just a tool. Yeah.
Right. Which is what my dream was telling me.
Yeah.
That we're as much as part of that as anybody, that we need to use it as a tool. That's exactly what my dream was saying.
And work together.
I also wanted to add one more thing, is that I happen to know Robin Williams personally in the mid-'80s. And I wanted to say one thing about, you're speaking about his depression, and he was a very, very nice man, but also he was Robin Williams, which he couldn't stop or control. And I think that amount of humor created a certain alienation for him, that he was never really part of anybody else. He was always the performer. And, he did have a person inside, but I think that created a separation from humanity to him, because he was so outside of that realm. And I loved him dearly, and he was the greatest man, but I felt he had already had a loneliness before he even got famous. I knew him. And I was very sad when I heard about how he died, but I wasn't too surprised because I could see that alienation just grew and developed him more. Wow. And how he could never stop. I mean, he couldn't stop being Robin Williams, even if he tried. So he'd just pop out of him unexpectedly. And that's a lot to expect from one person. You know?
Well, thank you, Wendy. I really appreciate you sharing and these thoughts. And thanks for being a Dream Journal listener.
Okay, thank you. I will listen to the show every time.
Every week.
Thank you very much.
All right, glad
thank
to hear
you for letting me speak my point.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye now. So, Joanna, a lot of things we covered, a lot of ground here, and we're getting near the end of the show. And I'm wondering if you have some topic that has not come up yet that you'd like to spend like just a minute to talk about, or something about your offerings. Or what would you like to say here as we're wrapping up?
Yeah, I think I would just like to say that I'm glad that we had the chance to talk about it, and it seems that it does spark some conversation, and it's maybe not so out there yet, and that I would love dreamers to use the AI responsibly if they decide to use it. Right. And my goal of the ebook and talking to you about it is just to show that it's a tool, we are evolving, a species is evolving, technology is evolving. So I felt that just letting it, putting it under carpet and pretending it's not existing, it's not the best call. I rather show others that, it can be used for great things, but also it has its dangers. Right. And to remind everyone that they have a full authority about their dreams, right. That they are the authority, and not to let anyone else, not the person, and let alone the machine, to decide what their dream means for them. Because the whole point for me of looking into dreams is to connect to ourselves deeper, and to connect to our intuition, and to empower ourselves, like find this inner compass within us that will help us grow and make good decisions in life, and so on. So it is within us, and our dreams are showing us that, and we don't need anyone else to tell us those things, but we can use them for help. But that's what I would like to convey.
Thank you. So this is Joanna Kowalewska, who can be found at the Blue Lotus Queendom.com, or on Instagram and Facebook, Blue Lotus Queendom.com, and you can download that audiobook for free just by going to her webpage. Joanna, this has been a pleasure, and I really wish you all the best going forward.
Thank you. Thank you, Catherine. It was amazing. Yes.
All right.
Thanks a lot, and have a great day.
Bye-bye. You too. So thank you for listening. The Dream Journal is produced at the studios of KSQD in Santa Cruz. We are live every Saturday at 10 a.m. Pacific at ksqd.org. The podcast is released on the Monday following the show. It keeps us growing when you subscribe, rate, and review. You can even find us now on PRX. I'm Catherine Bell. Find out about my dream coaching practice at experientialdreamwork.com. You can email me at catherine@ksqd.org. That's KATHERINE@ksqd.org. You can follow Experiential Dreamwork on Facebook and Instagram to find out about upcoming shows, or contact me for a free introductory consultation. I'd like to thank Rick Kleffel, engineer and music creator, also Tony Rosamano for the phones, and intro music is Water Over Stones. Outro music is Everything, both by Mood Science. Tomorrow morning when you wake up, take a minute to write down your dream and bring it to the next Dream Journal.